Hi everyone. For today's conference, I decided to visit Mrs. Travis's classroom to discuss Chapter 12's 6 principles. Um, in terms of Principle 1, which is add sufficient practice interactions to e-learning to achieve the objective, I decided to look at Unit 1's um, content from Mrs. Travis's classroom. And for this unit, I believe her objective is we'll be learning about Maryland's land, water, and regions, the Palo Indians and Women Indians of Maryland, and map skills. So as you notice, there's a lot of different key vocabulary going on here. She talks about the regions, she snapshots about Native Americans, and then she gives students opportunities to go and learn more about maps, about the land forms and bodies of water, to learn more about plantations. And these are all interesting activities to build upon their knowledge in relation to her objective. However, in regards to practice, the the first two are these two activities here are all in relation to map skills, and that's a small segment of her actual objective. When there's a great deal of information that focuses on other aspects. So I have to say her practice is not really sufficient or in relation to her objective fully. So practice in terms of Principle 2, again, this website doesn't provide, well, I guess if your job was to practice to read map skills, then I guess this would be a good example. I mean, we can take a look at it. So it's to practice longitude and latitude. If I click on it, oh, it's kind of slow. Okay, so the activity is to move Hannah. This is my world. Sometimes I get lost. Can you help? Can you help find me? Um, I mean, I guess in terms of job finding, the likelihood that you're gonna look for someone by location is very slim per se. I mean, it depends on what the profession is. So I guess in this sense, it could be applicable. Um, Principle number 3 is provide effective feedback. On this site, it doesn't have anything in regards to providing feedback. If I go back to our homepage here, there's nothing that really gives um, examples of what effective feedback is, especially in relation to the practice that's going on for that one unit. And then Principle 4 is distribute and mix practice among learning events. Again, the practice that she does have, so she has this one longitude matching game. And if I go back, she has this one to practice map skills, but it actually takes me to this strange site. So I think it's actually the link is actually broken or it's not correct. I wouldn't be able to fairly evaluate Principle 4. And then the last one, not the last one, Principle 5 is apply multimedia principles. Well, some of her information is paired with images. I wouldn't say that she has any real redundant information, but she doesn't really pair audio with this information. I mean, she has a Voki in her homepage, but that doesn't mean that it's done for each unit. So, and then I definitely think that she has a lot of information going on, and this could potentially be a violation of the coherence principle. I mean, this one chapter, this one unit focuses on this one objective. but then within this unit it has all this information. It's not broken down into smaller segments in a sense. So it is kind of a big pile of information to sort through. And then the last one is principle 6, transition from example to practice gradually. And again, there isn't really any practices that are applicable to this whole entire unit. It focuses mainly on just math skills and longitude and latitude, when it's also about other things as well. So the practice isn't it's very, very limited in that sense. And then if I go on to the next unit, the next example for her math, for example, I chose mathematics class 4th grade. And I had chosen earlier chapter 4, applied multiplication and division facts. And she has a snapshot here of all the different things that pertain to this unit. It says understand multiplication facts, properties and division rules, multiply and divide facts through 12, identify factors and multiples, and choose an operation to solve problems. Okay, and then she has all this information like notes, that's fine. And then she has opportunities for you to practice. So if I click on, for example, to practice multiplying, okay, that's, this isn't okay. I mean, it's not, it gives the student an opportunity to practice their multiplication skills, but the practice itself doesn't lend any substance other than to just actually apply your math skills. So, for example, it doesn't mirror a job because you wouldn't necessarily be batting for math anyways. And then it doesn't provide effective feedback. It just tells you whether you're right or wrong. It doesn't give you explanatory feedback. So, and then the next one is distribute and mix math practices among learning events. Well, with this one, it's just hitting the ball and depending on your answer. So that's not really a mix of practices. And then the next principle, principle 5, again, it doesn't, well, we can try, let's see. There was no audio to show you how to explain the visuals in your lesson, and that's under modality and redundancy principles. The graphics are not really paired with practice, like with the terms. I mean, if I was just reading the words home run, how do I know the difference between a home run and a double? There's no explanation. I know this is a game, so it's a little bit different, but just saying. And even on her original site, if I go back here and I go to mathematics again, and I choose chapter 4, and then I look at this, her original homepage, there's a lot of information going on. Even her, it's kind of confused. There's no audio for it, and then even for her contiguity principle, it doesn't really necessarily, even her paired text with her visuals doesn't necessarily mean that they actually relate. There's no explanation of the actual visual itself. And then again, there's a lot of information going on here for just one chapter. Even though it's a snapshot, there's a lot of information on one page for one individual to kind of go through and sort through. And then the last one is principle 6 is transition from examples to practice gradually. I wouldn't say that this is a good example of how to do that, where you look at examples. There's actually not really any examples to look through. It just gives you statements of facts. You don't actually have a chance to view it in action before trying your own on your own, the practice problems. So on this particular website, Mrs. Travis's classrooms, there's two clear examples of how she doesn't necessarily follow the 6 principles associated with providing effective practice opportunities. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Did I just start